Hi, my name is Mary Peterson, and this is my final project presentation for CIT260. I worked on the game called Revenge of Merek with Diana Hughes. As I go through this presentation, I'm going to focus on the items that were listed on the rubric. And the first item that was listed on the rubric was looking at a static class variable versus a non-static class instance variable and showing examples of each. So a static function, the difference between the two is that a static function is allowed because they are not associated with an object instance. They are final, meaning that a value must be assigned to the variable when it is defined. They must have a code block. Values of static variables cannot be changed. Non-static functions cannot be defined and have a code block after the function signature in an interface class. In this example that we see here, the getArea function is a non-static function because it has a code block after the function signature. The other functions in this area are the getPerimeter, getVolume, and draw function. They are non-static function. They are static functions because they do not have a code block after the function signature. The next item in the rubric was to demonstrate through examples from your program your understanding of when to use an array versus an array list versus an enum. So to understand the differences, we need to understand what they are first. An array model a fixed length list of objects or values that can be changed. An array list is a variable length list that may contain different types of objects. Objects can be added to or removed at any time. An enum is a type of list that has a fixed length list where all of the objects in the list are the same type, but unlike an array, the objects in the list can never be changed. So an array is fixed length, values can be changed. An array list is variable length, and objects can be added to or removed at any time. An enum is fixed length, but cannot be changed. Arrays and enums can be much more efficient to use because the number of items is fixed. They are good for that. However, they are hard to use when it comes to adding and deleting items from the list. So in that case, an array list would be better to use. So this example that you see here on the screen is an array from our game from creating different scenes and showing the list of the different scenes. This next one is an array list. On this array list, you can add or remove items anytime, and this example is from the game and the examples that the teacher has given us. And you do this by using the add inventory items function and the add function to add items to an array list. This next slide shows an enum. This is an enum, and like what was stated before, these actors can never be changed and the size of the list will never change either. So this list will always remain the same, and that's why it's an enum. Okay, so the next slide and the next item on the rubric is demonstrate through examples of code that you have written for one of your individual assignments your understanding of how to use a basic for statement and an index to go through and access each item stored in an array or array list. For statements are a way to navigate through the list of items in an array. In this example, the counter variable is initialized at 0 and it repeats the block of code in the curly brackets, the length of the inventory array. I is the position of the variable in the array. So you see that here. Okay. And this next slide shows how to use an index, and you use an index to go through and access each element stored in an array list. This index helps keep track of the positions of the items in an array list. When you add functions to an array list, the index positions them accordingly, assigning them a number. The number that they are assigned is the element's position in the array. The index starts at 0, so the number 1 position will have an index of 0, and the number 2 position will have an index of 1. Okay, the next item on the rubric was demonstrate through examples of code that you have written for one of your individual assignments, your understanding of how to throw, propagate, and catch custom runtime errors in your program. So this is an example from from our game, something that I did, move player to a location. So throwing a custom exception, this is how, or this is what I would like to say. You use this when a specific error occurs in your program. The throw statement tells Java that the error occurred. So the throw statement is right here. It tells Java that the error occurred and that it will handle that error with a try-catch exception. Try-catch statement. Throw initiates it. New creates, so here throw initiates it. New creates the exception objects, and map control exception propagates the exception. On the next page, I will show you a try-catch statement. So this here is an example of a try-catch statement. When the game control exception is caught, so here we have a game control exception in this example, and when it is caught, the exception classes get message down here function is called. That message is then shown when this exception happens. Okay, the next item in the rubric was explain when and why a character stream class should be used versus a byte stream class to read a data file. Java initially only supported byte file streams. So a byte file stream reads and writes binary data 1 byte at a time. So byte file streams must be used to read and write binary data and also store data in the ASCII format. On the other hand, character stream data is saved in a Unicode format. Unicode is supporting in all languages, not just the Western ones. Supported in all languages, not just the Western ones. In this, each character is saved to 2 bytes of memory. Byte stream can only read 1 byte at a time, so character stream data is not supported by byte stream data. Character stream data should be used when reading and writing all character data. So here is a list of character streams supported in Java, and in our coding we use the buffered, reader, print writers, and file writers, file reader. We used a few in our coding. Okay, the next item on the rubric was walk through an example of code that you have written for one of your individual assignments and just demonstrate your understanding of how to write character data to an external file. In this example, the location of the location of the file is players.txt. The line here, out file equals new file writer file location, is the line that tells the program to create a new file stream. Then the other out file lines with the names written, the date to the file stream. With the names, write the name to the file stream. If there are any errors, that will be addressed and the user will be warned by the line error saving, the line here, error saving players' names to file. Finally, it is very important to close the file stream. If the developer, down here, closing the file stream, if the developer forgets to close the file stream, it will really take its toll on the other programs that you're trying to run, especially the ones that need to use that file. Again, if it can't be closed, the program will warn the use of this by telling them that there's an error in closing the file. Okay, so now we're going to go into NetBeans, and I am going to walk through our game. We were successful in certain areas, in others we weren't. And so this game is not completely fully functional, but there are some areas that are working fine. We have all the coding for everything that we did, and everything is coded. We just had troubles getting it all to connect together. We also had problems with the map showing up, and we worked through it so much and just could not seem to get it right. So this is the welcome page that outlines what the game is about. The game is called Revenge of Merek. The player, after they have read the intro section, the player then enters their name. So I'll enter my name. And then it welcomes them to the kingdom and tells them that the future is in their hands. So the main menu shows them that they can either start a new game, continue an existing game, get help on how to play the game, or exit. So I will show you first the get help on how to play the game menu. So you put in H. This has different items that help the player know how to navigate and play the game. So here it shows the goal of the game. M shows how to move around. And P will print the map. Here we just enter a name and it will be saved. And when we want to exit out of the help menu, we press E. Okay, the next one I will show you is continue an existing game. And we set it up so it was assigned to a character. So when we saved it, we saved it under a name. Okay, so that name hasn't been saved in the system yet, so that's why it's giving this error. Okay, so we'll exit back to the main menu and we will start a new game, pressing S. So here, the game play menu, you can access how much you have in your inventory by pressing I. And they haven't acquired anything yet in the game, so they don't have anything, and this lists the inventory items. Q, you can see the different quests that you will be completing in this game, and if they are available or complete. So true means that they are available, false means they are not complete. The next thing I will show is move. Here it asks them where they would like to go, north, east, south, or west. And we'll run it again because that's where our error starts with the map. Okay, so we have the save function. We just save and we say the name it wants to be saved under, and it saves it. And help takes us to the help menu. And map is where we were having issues as well. And print report, and we would put that. And that is our game. It is not fully functional, but a lot of it worked out good. We have all of the items coded. It was just, like I said, figuring out how to get them to connect together and function properly. So that is my presentation, and that's it. Thank you.